What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. I want to start by apologizing. I did miss an episode next week, but we are touching on what I kind of came across whenever I was missing that episode. This was the first week that I was traveling a whole lot this year. So 2022 kind of started out, and I was doing a lot of editing work. I was home a ton, and whenever I was editing a ton, I had more time to do this stuff. I had more time to record podcasts, get them in the bank, ready to go. I had more time to film more reels, but I kind of came across the first scenario that I knew I would come across eventually, and it was traveling and not necessarily finding good enough Wi-Fi to download, upload, all that fun stuff. So I wanted to talk about creating content and continuing content whenever you're traveling, whenever you're working on client projects. So this client project that I was on, I was out of town and I was shooting a couple different things with the company Victory that I believe I've touched on in the past. Victory is a client of mine who we get to shoot with a lot of cool different companies for. And within Victory, their clients that they have are that I've worked with are Nike and the NBA. So, as you can expect, they're pretty cool scenarios to be in. They're pretty cool projects to work on. But to start, I can't post anything. I can't post anything that I shoot. So, whenever it comes to continuing to put out my personal content, it gets a lot more difficult because whenever I'm shooting all day with them, I can't post anything about that. So, I always struggle to actually continue to post on my stories, continue to post just in general whenever I'm working with them. But it's not that big of a deal. This is part of the nature of the beast, and that's something that I want to touch on in this episode as well, is just not necessarily feeling the need to post whenever you are working on every single project. But this project that I was on, I was shooting a little bit for something that they had opening up, and then as well as NBA All-Star Weekend. NBA All-Star Weekend was really cool. I got to get in some cool rooms, shoot some cool stuff, and hopefully I'll be able to share a little bit of it as it rolls out. Anything that they put out, I can pretty much just say that I helped shoot it, but that's the extent of what I can post, so I hope I can share with you guys what I've done. But whenever you're on these shoots that aren't necessarily your clients, a lot of the time it comes with not necessarily being able to post. So sometimes you can never post anything. Sometimes it's internal work. Sometimes it's work that you just can't even say that you did. You can't even post anything ever. But then sometimes it's just stuff that is rolling out in the future. So a great example might be a music video. This might be a musician working on a new project that they haven't even talked about yet. So you can't talk about it currently, but you will be able to eventually. So if you're shooting a music video for a project that's already done, then as that music rolls out, and as it rolls out probably a couple months later, you'll be able to post that you did it then. But if you're working with a big artist and they haven't talked anything about their new project that's coming out, and then you are the one that posts about it, you're the one that's spilling the beans about everything, that doesn't look good. That is not what you want to do. It will just turn out very badly for you. And you just don't want to ruin that relationship just because you're trying to post about what you're doing. You have to respect your clients. You have to respect that they don't always want you to talk about what these projects are that you're working on. And, you can respect that. You can understand that because, for example, if you're coming out with a clothing line and you haven't talked about the collection or anything yet, and maybe it already has some traction behind it, then if it gets leaked, it's not going to be good. If music gets leaked from an artist, then you're the one that looks bad. I actually heard a funny story recently that, and it's kind of in the same boat as this. It was a free agent in the NFL, I believe. He was talking about where he was going to go, where he was going to pick, and in order to see kind of who was with him and who he could trust, he told everyone in his circle a different team that he was going to go to, and he kept tabs of what he told each person. So then as he saw different leaks, as he saw different publications coming out with these rumors and having these anonymous sources coming out saying what team he was going to go to, he would know exactly who did it. It's just a funny idea. It's probably kind of a toxic idea. It's kind of like you don't trust anyone. But at the same time, it's like, damn, like you can definitely see who's actually trustworthy, who's actually on your side whenever you do something like that. I mean, it's kind of a piece of shit move. You're kind of asking for it. You're asking for people to get mad at you. You're asking to kind of lose a friendship in a way. But I guess you can see who you can and can't trust whenever you do that. I just thought that was a funny idea because so much in sports, these leaks come out. Oh, anonymous source in the locker room told us that Aaron Rodgers is going here. It's a piece of shit move on all parts. You know, there's some snake in the locker room that's just telling everyone what's going on. So I don't necessarily say, I'm not saying that you should do that, but that's kind of in the same lane as saying what you're shooting before it actually comes out. Now, you might talk to your friends about it. You might want to talk a little bit about what you're doing. But if I can give one piece of advice, do not post anything about what you're shooting until you have permission or until it's released to do so. Sorry, I bumped the mic there. There might have been a little bit pop there. But do not post anything until you have permission to do so. If it's a client that you've worked with in the past, obviously it might be a little bit different. You don't necessarily have to ask for permission every single time. But if you are working with somebody that's a new client that might be bigger scale, they might have a lot more eyeballs on them. They might have a lot more different boxes they have to check before anything comes out. Do yourself a favor and don't post anything. I got in trouble a little bit in the beginning of my career because I posted something that I wasn't supposed to. You know, it ended up being okay. I honestly had no idea that I wasn't allowed to post, and whenever I did this, I was like, dang, I feel like my life is over. I am in so much trouble. This sucks. It's such a cool opportunity, but it's not the end of the world. So if you're starting out as creative and you're posting everything, I would just say don't. You know, you're going to gain a lot more respect in the industry if you don't post every single thing that you're doing. If you post all the time, then they're going to feel like they can't necessarily trust you. So obviously find the happy medium between putting out your own content and then obviously working on these client projects. If you have no interest in ever having your own personal brand, then this will make your life a lot easier. Then don't post anything. But I personally post this stuff not to flex that I'm shooting for anyone, not to flex all these different things that I'm doing. More so because if I post this and you're scrolling through your Instagram, when you see, oh, Joey posted, oh, wait, we needed somebody for this Nashville shoot. So then they think of me and they're, oh, let's hit Joey up to do it. That's why I post on social. If a big following, if a lot of views come along with it, sick. That's awesome. Maybe another source of income then. But at the end of the day, it's more so them seeing my name, them seeing my face, and me staying in their mind whenever they're considering hiring somebody for this project that's coming up. That is why I post a lot on social media. That's why I think it's important to stay consistent. You don't need to post something crazy every single time, but it's staying in people's minds. Obviously, whenever you drop that big post, whenever you drop that big edit that you've been working on, a lot of people will share it. That will look great. That might expose you to a new audience, which is awesome. Obviously, at the end of the day, you want to get a lot more eyeballs, whether that be to gain a following or whether that be to maybe find some new clients. Those clients might hit you up because they saw somebody sharing your post. So check those boxes before you start flexing your content that you're working on. Check those boxes before you start to maybe get yourself in some situations that might be a little bit iffy. Things like this, things like sharing your content without being allowed are easily avoidable. So if you can avoid any stress, do it. Sometimes it is stressful and sometimes you don't know if you can post or not. So it's tough. You don't know where the line is. You don't know where the line is of what you can do, what you can't do. So do yourself a favor. Don't post immediately. But let's dive into the other half of this, what I mentioned at the very beginning. And it's continuing to post the content whenever you're working, whenever you're traveling. So there's two things that I struggle whenever I travel, and it's continuing to work out as well as continuing to post my own content. These are two things that I am very consistent with, and they are a high priority whenever I'm home, but they seem to be the first two things that I neglect whenever I'm traveling. I haven't necessarily found the secret sauce to dive in and really dial in your workouts whenever you're on the road, but my one tip for working out whenever you're on the road is make it quick. You know, you might have to wake up a little bit earlier, you might have to squeeze it in, but I never end up working out for more than 30 minutes whenever I'm on the road. So this is a high intensity workout For example, whenever I worked out, whenever I was gone this past week, I started out and I lifted and I did nonstop weight workout. I did some kettlebell stuff, some dumbbell stuff for 20 minutes. And so I was pretty tired, not an amazing workout, but it's something. It's something to keep the body moving, keep you in rhythm, keep you in that state where you're working out. You feel good. As well as then I did a fast mile. I did a mile at a 6:30 pace. It was tough. It's hard. It sucks. But then I'm done in 30 minutes and I got a good sweat going. My lift, I might not have gotten a great sweat going, but then my run, I was sweating a ton. So that is my tip. If you're traveling, trying to work out, find a little block of time. Don't try and get that 2-hour workout in because honestly, it's not doable. Usually when I'm traveling, the schedule's really busy. You're there for the client, so you kind of want to be there as much as they need you. So find that little block of time to get it done. This might even be a tip if you're trying to work out more and you're just at home. Find a little block of time that you can do it and it'll work. Find those 30-minute increments. Find a 30-minute increment in the morning. It could be as simple as not going on your phone as soon as you wake up. Instead, getting up, maybe drinking a cup of water, and getting straight down to the gym. Easy. 30 minutes that you already had, but you're just allocating this time to other areas of your life. I can't recommend that enough. I've recommended walks in the morning. I've recommended other things, but I would say try working out. Try and put a little spot of time for you to work out, even if it's a low intensity workout if you're starting out. But whenever you're traveling, trying to post your content as well, batch record before you go. There's nothing harder than trying to record more content whenever you're on the go, especially if you're working with a client that you can't necessarily post what you're doing. Record stuff before you leave and it'll make it a whole lot easier. If you're gone for 7 days, record at least 8-9 days worth of content because the day before you might be traveling. So you're traveling, you can't record at the airport. The day after, you might just be exhausted and not want to record. That's what happened yesterday. I got some work done that I needed to, but the last thing I want to do is be in front of a camera for 20 minutes. So be ready to go. Be ready, batch record. Get your content ready, dialed in. Get the drafts ready, maybe even on YouTube if that's what you want to be consistent with. Already have those videos done, ready to go, scheduled, so they're uploaded, and it's totally out of your hands then. This content is posting without you even realizing it. Now, I know I missed a podcast episode, but I started and I posted my first tutorial. So I'm going to start posting tutorials every single Saturday, and that is how I did that. It posted while I was gone, and I had it completely done. I had the thumbnail all done, scheduled, ready to go on Saturday whenever I was shooting. I honestly forgot that it was even posting until I went to my YouTube studio and got home. I forgot that I posted a video, but my subscribers saw it. Different people following along, they saw that I posted something while I was totally doing something else. Now, I might not have been able to really push the tutorial. I might not have been able to really post on my other platforms that I posted it, but that's okay. Putting that video out, staying consistent, it keeps you in the algorithm. I might have screwed myself up a little bit by not posting on Tuesday, but my bad. I'm going to try and stay consistent. I'm going to try and do as well as I can, but it gets tough. So those are my different tips on whenever you're traveling. And also whenever you're just dealing with clients. I know I touched on a couple different topics, but those are the kind of things that I was struggling with and the kind of things that I've struggled with over time, and I'm trying to find a better way to go about it. So I appreciate you guys listening. I will see you in the next episode. Peace out.